And so this is week 11 and 12 of a WGU accounting degree journey. So last week went to visit family, got really sick, and I didn't want to record an update video, so I'm just going to combine them together in this one. So for week 11 and 12, the courses that I worked on were D216 Business Law for Accountants, C716 Business Communication, D253 Values-Based Leadership, and D089 Principles of Economics. So out of those, I finished the last three. So, and I'll start with why. So with the first one I mentioned, Business Law for Accountants. So that course is really dense. There's a lot to get through. And when I was looking up prepping before starting the degree, I read that what you cover in that course is kind of the same info that you go over when you're doing your CPA test. So it's really foundational and really important to get through and really understand what's going on. So I've gotten to this one. I already mentioned it before in previous updates, so I'll try not to repeat myself. Let's see. But as I stand now, I haven't finished the course. I've scheduled my test for Monday, so today's Sunday, so tomorrow. Plan to take the test, and I've been using the extra time to just really go over the material. I read the book, I watched the videos, I did the study guide where I went through the book and wrote down answers. I reviewed my study guide answers, watched all the review videos. Elaine Meyer is awesome, so she's got like 3 or 4 different series to go through. And so I definitely recommend going through all of them because it's really helped really understand the concepts so they don't feel so foreign anymore. Let's see. Also, I use ChatGPT, and I'll go over that. I'll probably film that like separately, but how I use ChatGPT, because someone did ask about like what prompt I use for that. By using ChatGPT to help study and really connect the dots for concepts. And then I wrote this note for myself, but learning more about how finances work here in the US. Oops, sorry. It's like my eye's still all. No, I oiled my hair, so like some of the oil's dripping into my eyes. But learning more about how finances work in the US, it feels like if you've ever been to a board game meetup, but like when you go to one, and there's always like a group there, they've been playing this really long, complicated like tabletop board game, and when they get there, they only want to play that, and they don't really want to play with anyone else or have anyone else join them and try to explain the rules because it's just too complicated, it takes too long, they just want to get right to it. So that's kind of what like learning finances like feels like to me. It's like I'm observing them and learning these rules. They don't really want to explain it to me, but I'm welcome to do it on my own time and then jump in when I'm ready. So yeah, this course feels a lot like that. Like, yeah, just so many different concepts. If you started this, you'll know what I mean. But I will be happy when I'm done and pass the test, and I can like fully put this like mark it as done. See, let's go to the next one. All right, so the next one was C716 Business Communication. Alrighty, so what? Oh, you know what? This one? Okay, so I got lucky because after business law, the next 2 courses, they're tasks. So that meant I didn't have to like get on camera, schedule an exam. So I could still work on those while I was sick because it was just a lot of reading and writing. And so that's what I've done. That way I could still make progress while I'm waiting to take the other courses test. And so for this business communication class, let's see. So task 1, I submitted on Wednesday. It got graded really fast the next day on Thursday. But this one was really enjoyable. So I really liked the prompt that we were supposed to write about. And so I really just pulled in a lot of my own perspective to use it was a full-on essay. So in this essay, and my kind of main goal was just to pull in my own experience, make it my own. And then secondary goal was to make it hopefully slightly more enjoyable for the evaluator to read, because I can't imagine I can't imagine what it's like to go and grade everyone's stuff, but I've done grading in like a smaller capacity before, and it can get kind of like not as fun when you read like a bunch of the same thing. So I was trying to pull in my own like experience it's usually pretty unique, like sign language interpreting, learning other languages, and like putting that into the essay. So also for that class, like I really didn't pull in much from the textbook, which was another reason to use my own experiences. And then for the second task for this one, also submitted on Wednesday, it was graded Thursday. And this one was a cover letter resume, and I just used a cover letter that I've written before and actually used to get a job. And then my resume just sort of, updated a bit to better align with what the task wanted. So I updated both of those to fit what the task required, but since I already had it, it was a lot quicker to finish that task. And then this one was different because there's 3 tasks. So the third task, I used the template provided to set it up. Definitely use the template. It might take some digging to find it. In this case, it's like a PowerPoint presentation, and so you want to find the PowerPoint template as well as the Word doc template. So there's a Word doc template like usual, but then there's a PowerPoint template, which I found at the last minute, and that really helps. So find it. All right, so now the next course, which I did finish, Value-Based Leadership, also had tasks. This one just had 2 tasks. Let's see. And I didn't really write much about this one. It wasn't as much fun. The 2 tasks were very repetitive, very tiresome. The book was really repetitive. I did have to pull in sources from the book. But yeah, I just try to finish this one as fast as possible. I don't really have much to say about it. I was still kind of sick working through it, so I was just trying to get it done. So I submitted these on, I believe it was Thursday. It took me like another day to finish this one, and then I got the results back like around, I want to say yesterday, either like Friday or Saturday. So that one took like the normal amount of time to get graded. All right, and then the course I started yesterday is the Principles of Economics class. Oops. And that one I'm actually still working on because it also has a lot involved. There's just a lot of reading and concepts to get through and learn. So I first saw the textbook, and I wasn't going to start with it first. I started watching the videos, like some people recommended. But then I actually switched back to the textbook and just read through the modules. And then I tried to watch those videos again, and then realized there's a reason everyone says you should just watch the review videos, because there's 2 sets. So there's like the regular videos, which is by, what's her name, Teresa Alafita. And then there's the review videos, which are the ones that everyone usually mentions when they're like, watch these guys' videos. And I forget his name. I didn't write it down. But for the first set of videos, honestly, I think I'm just going to skip them. I have 1 unit left, and I'm just going to like not watch them at all, because every time I watch them, I zone out. I don't really get what she's saying. And I think it's just how it's structured. But with the review videos, they're very structured. It's very clear and it makes sense. And they're also shorter. So, yeah, at least for me, the way I like to learn and take in information, especially if it's brand new, is it's almost like being told a story that you're trying to remember. So like the first time you hear the story, what was my example? It's like when I say like when your dad tells a story, and then eventually you learn it so well you can say it with him in your head while he's saying it again for like the 100th time. But really it could be any like older person in your life, or even the younger person. But the first time you hear the story, it's like brand new to you, and you're like, whoa, okay, that's a crazy story. And maybe you only kind of get a general sense of what happened, like who was in it, the beginning, the ending, but you can't really tell it yourself. And then the next time you hear it, like as your dad launches into the story, you're thinking, oh wait, this is familiar. He's told this before. And so that second hearing, you'll remember more of the details, and then every time you hear it again, you'll learn more and more specifics until you can tell it yourself. So that's how I learn. And so that's how I structure my studying. Like the first time I go through something, I'm not expecting to remember it much. Just a general, like, I guess, outline, like beginning, middle, end, who's involved, when is it, just basics. Is this a sad story, happy story? And then I'll go through again, and that one I'm filling in more details. And usually that's like reading the textbook. The next layer is watching the videos, or like finding videos to watch. And then the next layer is like maybe reviewing my notes, filling in the specific dates that I need. And then at this point, for multiple choice, that's actually enough for me to go in and take a test and do well. But if you really need to like get a more specific handle on the information, then just that every time you engage with it again and again, you're just adding more layers and really like anchoring that information in your head. So that's how I approach learning, and that's why for these courses where there's so much more involved, I think I'm going to have to change up how I've been learning. So I've been doing more like Saturday, Sunday are like my big study days, and then some studying on Monday and Friday. But I think I'm going to have to at least do the reading part, because there's just so much to get through for me to complete like that first layer of just absorbing it and getting it, the outline. So I think I'm going to have to do a little bit of reading throughout the week, and then that way my like second, third layers can still happen on the weekend when I have more focus for it. But just getting that first layer put down, I'm going to need that extra time. So that is everything I wanted to share. And yeah, that's the update. So tomorrow I take my test, hoping to take the economics test tomorrow too, but I need to finish studying today. So we'll see how that goes since I have 1 unit left. But yeah, and then yeah, we'll see how that goes this next week.